Okay, gravity is not stopping, so I'm not stopping either. I continue my path onwards and upwards. This workout is a Heightmaxxing workout. Everything I'm doing is designed to elongate and align my entire posture and achieve my effortless maximus height. Because we all have different spines, we all have different compromises and imbalances and compensations that get in the way of our most optimal state of flow. So I started off today checking in to see if I could get my muscle up. I've been going after this one for years. I've actually made it here and there a couple times, but not consistently. Sometimes as an injury, or sometimes I get elongation or alignment due to other work that I'm doing. And that actually changes my myofascial strength. So we have this connected chain. We have various kind of chains of strength that go through the entire body that coordinate together. And the more coordinated they are, especially in that muscle up or even just this movement here, the more connected those chains of strength are, the more they are coordinating and firing together, the easier and effortless these movements are. So as I'm uncrinkling, as I'm ironing out the kinks in my chains of strength, these movements, my ability to do the muscle up changes. The process of recovering from kyphosis and scoliosis is about undoing these compensations that are strong, but are not my best and most ideal way to generate strength. For example, 10 years ago, if I did a bar squat, I would be activating my lower back, my hamstrings, my glutes wouldn't be firing, and I would be strong. I would have a chain of strength and I could generate force, but that is not my healthiest chain of strength. That is not my healthiest myofascial structure to house in my body, because that structure has chronic tension in it. It's interrupting optimal flow of energy and strength in my body. So a lot of the work that I've done is learning to activate the correct muscles, teaching those chronically over-tensed muscles to relax, to restore that healthy range of motion that I want to have in those areas, which is the ability to tense and activate when it's coordinated to do so, and then the ability to relax and let go, which a lot of those compensating muscles and compensating areas of the body don't know how to do. They don't know how to relax and let go, so they're constantly engaged. So when I do these types of workouts, I'm looking to engage the correct ones. And sometimes that's a process of becoming weaker. It's a process of going backwards and doing something that I could probably do a lot easier if I just used my compensated muscles. But by avoiding that, by focusing on, okay, I want to really activate my glutes in this movement. I really want to put myself in a more challenging position that forces the activation of those muscles that I've been neglecting, ignoring. And this strategy, this perspective has helped me so much in this process of correcting my posture and restoring my height. I'm up about 2 inches at this point. I used to have a crease in the middle of my abs that was from a collapse, and now, that's visibly unfolded. I do have a very severe structural kyphoscoliosis. A lot of it is kyphosis, so the 85-degree curve is mostly a forward head fixed curve. But I'm opening my mind to the opportunity that there is correction available there, that no matter how, even though I have a wedge-shaped T10 vertebrae, it's a triangle-shaped block in my Jenga of the spine, I'm not going to limit myself to what's possible. Why would I do that? I'm going to believe that transformation is happening at all levels, that if every day I show up and stimulate and challenge my body to achieve a balanced, strong, structured, aligned, and elongated posture, that my body will respond. Every cell in our body will respond to the environment, to the stimulus that cell is put into. And so if I'm stimulating my body in these movements right here to create elongated and aligned strength, the body responds. The body will move in that direction. Now, I do have restrictions that feel like a brick wall, that feel like I have this fixed curve in there that just won't go into its ideal state. But when I show up and when I say, hey, I know that that's me, and I'm opening my mind that this is possible, and I'm patient and I'm consistent and I keep showing up and I do it in different ways, I feel it happen. I feel these very fixed parts of my spine begin to mobilize. I start feeling that slight, subtle opening, elongation of parts of me that I thought were fixed like a brick. So when we have kyphosis and scoliosis, we have the body which is adapting and creating that natural brace. And so sides of our body aren't working as much as the other side. So training unilaterally like this with one foot forward and 1 foot back isolates different parts of the body. So this way, I'm focusing on the right leg generating the force from the feet up, feeling the weight of the body in the feet, generating that force up through the leg, up through the glute in particular, activating that right glute. It really needs to fire in this movement, where my old natural brace, especially if I'm using kind of two legs at the same time, my hamstrings and lower back are really kind of doing the work that the glute should have been doing. So this is really getting into that glute. And then now I am adopting more and more explosiveness. Now that I've gotten comfortable kind of going deeper into these areas, I'm starting to really feel that force. And so I'm not just gonna just move it around. I'm going to invite that explosive power. This is something that I'm ready for. It's not something that I would have started with, but I'm at that point where I'm like, okay, now that I've restored communication to my glute, I want to be able to restore power generation in there. So in the Heightmaxxing protocol, which is my holistic posture correction protocol, there are 3 phases. And these 3 things are things that I'm going to be doing every day for the rest of my life in various kind of ways. The first one is unraveling those old compensated tight postures. And the second one is aligning. And the third one is fortifying. And so sometimes there are movements that do one of those things in particular, like when we do myofascial release, that's in particular an unraveling motion. And then we have things like this, which is a combination of all 3 at this moment. As I'm generating force, I'm tapping into a more kind of primal or original or kind of foundational force generation, right? This is tapping into that spiral line coming up the leg, up one glute, up to the other shoulder. And by activating that pattern, activating that chain of strength in my body, it's naturally creating alignment. So you'll see I'm unraveling, I'm aligning, and I'm fortifying. And that's really what this whole process of correcting the posture and Heightmaxxing is all about. Okay, and thanks to Benjamin for leaving a suggestion in the comments about a snatch overhead squat. It's been a while since I've done it. I've done it a while ago, but I haven't done this in a very long time. And I've noticed that I've still got some fascial restriction for the movement. So I'm starting pretty light here. Before I put any weight in a position like this, I wanna start with little to no weight. And just go through the motions and feel it out. That's where all of this begins. There's no ego in this. This is listening to my body. Where is it at? Why do I have a little bit of restriction to straighten those arms there overhead? The answer to that is it's a myofascial restriction. And I know that that can be crumpled out, and that gets ironed out through moving through these movements. So obviously with a very severe kyphoscoliotic curve in my middle of my spine, this is obviously very, very challenging to do. So I'm using the wall as a bit of a support to kind of help me get there. Training wheels to allow me to stay true to the form, to not just crumple forward and lean forward and crunch up and fall into my curve to pull this off, to really intend my highest elongated posture as I go through that movement. Here you'll see I'm wriggling in the alignment that happens when I do that. That's what I'm like, I know this stuff works. And as I was in this position, this one just came to me because I was listening to my body, and I'm like, my body was asking for some thoracic mobility through these kind of overhead arm extensions, again, side by side, getting into some restrictions and feeling that out, and then beginning to generate force in that movement. So thank you, Benjamin. Definitely going to be working on that one. My approach to all of this is intuitive. It learns from everyone. It learns from things that make sense. I learn from movements that feel good. I can feel these things happening. I can feel this transformation happening. Whether you can completely fix your spine or not, this is the kind of work that you need to be doing regardless. Your spine may be limited in some ways, but the posture that you're building on top of your spine isn't limited as much as you think. There is so much malleability that you have to build a new body on top of your spine, and you're watching me do that. And I'm going to finish up this session with walking and a 30-second sprint, which is also known to boost testosterone, as well as just integrate this whole system, this whole beautiful coordinated biomechanical system that we're operating. And when we give it great movements and great stimulus, it responds by becoming great. So jump in the Posture Dojo at posturedojo.com to get access to the free Heightmaxxing protocol. Make sure to click like, click subscribe, and see you in the next one.